Hello everyone, very good evening and welcome to daily current affairs session of 13th February. So we have very important articles today which are exclusively almost all are very important for any objective exam that you are going to do. First we will see what actually that we are going to cover. There are few extra articles today, so when compared to the previous days there was a lot of news, right? First one is retail inflation. So we have already discussed what actually is inflation, how it works. Briefly we will discuss again, and then we will see in the context of WPI, very important in economics, consumer price index as well as wholesale price index, and what is the difference between wholesale inflation and retail inflation, that also we will see. Okay. Then Krishna river water dispute and Helsinki rules. So this was news because of Andhra Telangana dispute related to the Krishna water. So we will see the background and what actually is the dispute and what is the present condition. We will see in detail. This is a polity subject which will be covered under the federal issues between the states. Then RuPay cards and unified payment interfaces. So this is very popular, you already know how they are working and all. Briefly, without taking more time like 3-4 minutes, we will cover this in a brief manner. Okay. Then Swachhata, green leaf rating, again this is covered from Hindu only, very important. So this is a government initiative. Then Parak. So this again is a government initiative, this is taken from PIB. This is the schemes and initiatives, we will see detail in detail. And then PM Vani scheme, again it is a scheme taken from PIB itself. Green and restoration of wasteland without agroforestry, GROW report of Niti Aayog, very important, of Niti Aayog. This is also taken from Press Information Bureau. Then float test, so you already know this, but we will go a little bit detail which will be helpful for our exams. This was recently passed. The Bihar Nitish Kumar has passed the float test and he became again the chief minister. Then MSP policy, minimum support price policy, we have previously discussed in brief, but today we will see how it is calculated, because there was a demand from farmers and the farmers are ready to protest in Delhi through Delhi Chalo movement, right? So it was there in news that farmers are not agreeing what the government is saying. So we will see what actually is MSP policy and what the farmers are asking for. Then some factual pointers, there are 2-3 facts, and finally we will see practice questions as well. So feel free to ask any doubts, you no need to worry that these doubts are very silly or should someone think otherwise if I ask doubts. No need to worry, if you are not able to understand, you can comment here so that I will explain you again to make you understand in a much better way, right? So let's start with the today's session with the first article, that is retail inflation. So why it is there in news? The government has, or the ministry has launched the report or data related to the January month. This is, we are in February, so the January related retail inflation has been released by government, and every month this report is will be released by the ministry. You no need to remember at all. Just remember what is actually retail inflation and the conceptual in broader manner. These facts are not important because they change every month. Only their data presented in a long term manner, like for 1 year, for 2 years, only those data is useful. Whatever the data released every month is not useful for our exams. So just to make you know the context, that there is a reduction in retail inflation in both food prices as well as the normal inflation for January month. So that is the context. We have taken this article from the Hindu as well as Indian Express. In every newspaper they have published it, okay, for the report related to the January. Now before going into detailed explanation, let's understand what actually is retail inflation. So if you see this diagram, retail means at the consumer level, that means at the individual level, and the wholesale means at the production level. Okay, let's understand with some explanation. There is a factory, okay, so there is a factory which is producing goods, right? So all the goods are being produced. It will sometimes directly sell to the consumers, or maybe some big shops, and then big shops will again sell it to the consumers. Okay, ultimately of course the goods has to reach to the consumers. Whenever there is a calculation of prices at the industry, the producers level, this is producer, or sometimes at the wholesale shops, this is called as wholesale or yes, this is called as wholesale, and the price changes at this level is called as wholesale inflation. If the prices are calculated at the consumer level, that means our individual level, what is the price change? Those are called as consumer price index. These are called as WPI. Okay. So whoever is producing or selling in a bulk mode, those are called as wholesalers, selling in a bulk format, and the consumers, they just buy it at the very micro level, 1, 2 they will buy. So those are called as wholesale price index, and this is called as CPI, consumer price index. Now let us also understand how these are calculated, very important to understand. So for example, in 2023 December, okay, the prices, they will take all tomatoes, slippers, so they will multiply how much production has happened. Tomatoes for example 5 kg, chappals for example 2 pairs. So they will multiply with prices. What is the price of tomato 1 kg in December and the chappals in December? Now they will also multiply the same, whatever the produce happened, multiply the price in January 2024. So what amount has increased when we compare to the December month? That is called as inflation, right? You understood the inflation, that there is a change in price when we compare to the previous month. If it is measured at the consumer level, individual level, that is called as consumer price index, and if it is measured at the producer level, who is produced in a bulk manner, that is called as wholesale price index. So that is the difference between consumer price index as well as wholesale price index. Here retailer means buyer at the end, that is consumer. We are the retailers. Retailer means who is buying at the end. So now the inflation index that was measured is at the consumer level. Okay. So retail inflation is nothing but it is a change in prices at the consumer level through consumer price index. In exam they will ask, retail inflation is measured at what level? CPI, WPI, both, something like that they will ask. So it is nothing but, as it is an individual basis, it is measured with consumer price index. I have shown you how it is measured previously. I have explained you how CPI can be measured a little bit more, we will see in the next coming slides. So they will know the price levels of that particular month, so that accordingly government will also plan. If there are drastic increase in prices, then government will come and they will try to, government as well as central bank will come and they will help to reduce the costs, because it will impact the poor people, right? So if there is a increase of fuel, increase of food from 10 rupees to 100 rupees, poor people will affect. That's why every month government will monitor, they will publish this is the level of inflation, so it is fine at this level. If it is going beyond, then government will come up and handle it. Similarly, wholesale inflation at the producer level will be measured through wholesale price index. Retail inflation is measured through CPI, wholesale inflation is measured with WPI, wholesale price index. We will see the difference, don't worry, just to make you understand the very basic concepts. I hope you are clear, so that we will move ahead. Very good evening, AMC PWD. I hope it is clear for you. If you are facing any issues with the WPI and CPI and retail inflation, please let me know. If not, then we will move ahead. Okay. Yeah, I hope you are following what actually is retail inflation, what is the difference between CPI and WPI. Now we will see a little bit more detail about WPI. You might have already seen in most of the exams from economics, they have already asked question. I will show you also at the end how the questions are asked in the exam. Okay. So consumer price index is used to change the prices at the consumer level, household level. Okay. So that we have already discussed. But earlier we were measuring the inflation before 2014 with the WPI. These are all very important to understand. Before 2014, we were measuring the inflation for every month at the wholesale, that means at the seller or producer side. But just understand this. So this is a producer, a company or any industry. They are producing, they are selling it at one particular price, and the consumers will get different. For example, here whatever the company or industry is producing goods, if there is an increase in price when compared to last month, What it means? It means that there is an increased cost of raw material. These type of application based questions are asked in the exam. You need to understand it. You cannot by heart simply what is this and what is this. You cannot answer the questions properly. So see, at the industry level, if there is a change in prices, increase in prices, that means the input raw material prices has increased, okay. But if the prices at the producer level, right, the industry level is same when we compare to the December 2023, it is same in 2024 January. But if there is an increased prices here at the consumer level, that means what? Can someone answer this? So if there is a increase in prices at the consumer level, here the prices of January 2024 and 2023 December is same, but if there is a increase in prices at the consumer level, that means what? Raw material cost is same because there is no increase of cost here, only that taxes has increased. Indirect taxes means the taxes on goods, right. So here if there is an increase in prices at the consumer level, means government has increased the taxes. So it is a two sign. If it is more prices at the wholesale, that means the input cost has increased. If it is not changed at here but there is a change in consumer level, that means the amount of taxes laid on the goods which industries has produced has increased these prices. So government will come to know what type of measures they can take, right. So this is about the concept. Now earlier we were measuring, before 2014, we were measuring the inflation every month at the producer level, but central bank has felt that the actual reflection of inflation in the economy can be measured at the consumer level because they are the end users, right. So what actual reflection reflects is from consumer level but not from the industry level. So in 2014 they have changed when Raghuram Ranjan was the governor of RBI. So they changed the inflation indicator of every month to consumer price index, very important, okay. So this is how they measured. So CPI basket consists of 448 items in the rural level and 460 items at the urban level. So when they are measuring the inflation, they need to consider each and every good used by the consumer, right. So it can be food, it can be chappal, it can be pen, it can be watch, it can be anything. So such products, 448 items at the rural level and 460 items at the urban level are taken, and then the prices are calculated, how much production has happened, multiplied by the prices, they will see the price increase of every month, okay. This is very important. Items in the urban basket is much higher than, not much higher, higher than rural basket by 12 items. At least you need to know that urban basket is bigger than rural basket, okay. Then who releases this report every month? For CPI, it is National Statistics Office under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. This is also very important, already asked in the exam. So this is the report released by the, for CPI, National Statistics Office, okay. Now what is about wholesale price index? For wholesale price index, it is measured at the producer level. It is also called as headline inflation. Headline inflation means everything at the producer level, headline inflation is measured. So wholesale price index is also known as headline inflation. This is released by Office of Economic Advisor under Ministry of Commerce. See, CPI is released by Ministry of Statistics and wholesale price index is measured by Ministry of Commerce, right. So this is very important, and it consists of the basket items 697. The total goods measured at the wholesale price is 697, okay. Very important that WPI is having more number than CPI, okay. So we will see now what actually the constituents, this is also already asked in the exam, which are the major products. Yeah, sir, we are a consumer or retailer. Malini, we are consumer or retailer is same, the meaning it is like a synonym. Consumer or retailer is nothing but same, okay. So there is wholesaler and consumer is different, retailer or consumer both are same, okay. So you are the retailer as well as the consumer. So in WPI basket, the major portion was manufacturing products, okay. manufacturing products has highest weightage 64.97. See, there is a too much of technicality when you are measuring the goods. You no need to worry about that too much, how the index is prepared, what are all the things will take care. Just know the concept and then facts related to that, that's all. Concept is at the producer level, at the consumer level of CPI, and then how much weightages are given. So that's all you need to remember. Okay. So here manufacturing is having the highest weightage, followed by primary articles. Okay. Then fuel and power. And when you come to the consumer price, the major portion is given to food and beverages. Okay. Food and beverages, followed by miscellaneous, there are some other things, so housing. So under the manufacturing, again there will be lot. Shirt is a manufacturing, shoe is a manufacturing, pen is a manufacturing. So all again there will be so many items. You don't need to worry about those things. Just know that in W or in CPI, consumer price index, at the retailer level, the housing is having the highest weightage, 10.1% housing, because housing is a consumption of the retailers. And in WPI, the major portion of is fuel. Okay. So this is a broader criteria. Manufacturing is a very big criteria. There is a lot of goods, and here food and beverage is also broader criteria. There are number of food, goods within the food. So what you need to remember at the individual, if we divide all the goods into single thing, so housing is having the highest in CPI, and fuel and power is having the highest weightage in the WPI. Those two can be remembered for our exam. Okay. Right. Now, so that is all about WPI and CPI. There are some comparison which is very important for our exam, meaning we already know consumer price means at the retailer, that is V, and then wholesale price index, it is at the producer level, the industry. Now frequency of publishing, when they are publishing it, how many months, how many days they are publishing. CPI monthly it is being published monthly, and usually 14th of every month. Okay. So around 12 to 14 they will publish. This is given every month. And WPI, primary articles, fuel and power, is given weekly. Every week they are giving. So if you go back to the weightage of CPI, see here, there is a primary articles, fuel and power. There are two things. These are given every week because they are very fluctuated. Food prices like onions one day will be 80 rupees and other day it will be for 10 rupees, 20 rupees. So fuel also same, it depends on the external markets, because India don't produce too much oil, we import a lot of oil from Saudi Arabia, Iran and other countries. So these two are produced every week, but manufacturing goods are produced every month. Okay. So this type of statement based question can be seen in the exam. Now source. From where this information coming? Too much industries are there, how to collect how much production has been done, so what amount of inflation has raised, where the data will come for the government. For CPI, it is average household expenditure gathered from consumer expenditure surveys. There are certain surveys, the government people, staff will reach out to the consumers of not all the houses, they will go to selective houses and they will collect information. It is projected to the bigger level. Okay. So that is done for CPI. For WPI, already there are industries under the Ministry of Commerce. We have a proper database from different industries. Now we have introduced GST also. They will collect all the data and then they will multiply with the costs, existing costs, and they will see the inflation. One more very important thing is, in CPI, services are included. That means like entertainment, movies. So all these are services, hotels. These are not actually a goods, not physical goods. So here under CPI, services are included, but in wholesale price index, when they are measuring the inflation at the producer level, services are not considered. This is very, very important to remember. Okay. So I hope you are following it. So that is about the retail inflation. So what we have learned from this article, we are just summarizing it for every article. So we have seen the context, why it is there in news. Then we have understood what actually is inflation, what is retail inflation, what is wholesale inflation, who are producing it, right? And then what actually the background when it was changed from WPI to CPI, and what are all the basket composition which ministry is handling. Finally, what are the weightages, what are the dominant articles, and finally the comparison, right? I hope you are clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask here. Okay, right. Moving to the next article, this is actually very important for those students who are from Andhra and Telangana. Of course, this is important for all the central exams, but for those who are from Telugu states, it becomes much more important. So here there is an article from Hindu, Krishna river water dispute and Helsinki rules. So the context is this: Telangana Assembly yesterday has passed a resolution against handing over Krishna projects to the river board cited Helsinki rule. So they have said that the projects which we are taking will not be given to the Krishna, handling it to the river board. There is a Krishna river board which is already established by the center. So Telangana government passed that we are not going to give our projects to that Krishna river board. We will be handling on our own basis. They have cited Helsinki rules as well. So what we will do here, we will understand what actually the background, when it was, what happened between the states and why there is a dispute, and what actually the center has done and what is the present condition. We will understand it, okay? Right. Now the background, let's go to the background of Krishna water dispute. You know that Krishna river origin in Maharashtra and then it passes through Karnataka and then Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, okay? So total 4 states are there, okay? So keeping this in your background, let's understand the dispute between Andhra and Telangana. Andhra is a little bit much advanced state in terms of economy since many years. Telangana region is a little bit backward, okay? So because of lack of fertility, lack of irrigation facility, lack of development. In 1956, both the states, not only both the states actually, the present scenario there are 2 states, but earlier there are 3 regions within Andhra Pradesh, Rayalaseema, Coastal Andhra and then Telangana. So there are 3 regions. So all the leaders from these 3 regions has met and they have signed a gentleman agreement in 1956, way back. Okay, even before division of state or state reorganization act of 1956, which has happened in November, it was in February, much before. So gentleman agreement was signed between 3 regions of Andhra Pradesh and they have signed an agreement that it will protect the Telangana interest. There will be equitable distribution of water. What was happening earlier? Because Andhra has lot of irrigation facilities built by the Britishers, almost most of the water being shifted towards the Andhra region, and Telangana was backlogged, or even the Rayalaseema was backlogged. So they have signed that there will be sufficient amount of water distributed equally to all the regions within Andhra Pradesh. So that was signed in the under the gentleman agreement. However, this agreement actually was not practically implemented because in Andhra there are a lot of dams and lot of agriculture which was already developed, but in Telangana region there is no proper agriculture development. So in general, Andhra people need more money because there is lot of agriculture fields, right? So practically it is felt that it should give more water to the Andhra Pradesh and it was given actually to more water to the Andhra Pradesh, right? So because they have more agriculture fields. So after seeing all these things, there was already a dispute between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, right? So within the Andhra Pradesh there are regions, they are disputed that our region is not being developed. So central government has established Bachawat Tribunal. Bachawat Tribunal, he is the person to study all these things. What is the Krishna river water, how much to be given between Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, because Telangana was not existing then. It was established in 1969, very important to remember. They will ask, especially if you are writing state PSC of Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, they will ask this which year and all. So this is also called as Krishna Water Distributor Tribunal 1. First time they have established a tribunal. Tribunal means which will resolve the dispute between the 2 parties. So this was established in 1969 to settle the water shortage between Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. So this tribunal has published, they have studied and they have given that Andhra Pradesh will be allocated 811 TMC feet, very very important number for people who are writing Andhra Telangana exams, state PSCs. So this tribunal has given 811,000 million cubic feet of water to the combined Andhra Pradesh because it is 1969, okay. Then after the division, Andhra Telangana was divided in 2014, it was given 512 TMC to AP and then 219 to Telangana, here it is. So 219 TMC feet to Telangana. According to the distribution within this number, they have distributed between the two states. Okay, I am explaining you what has happened from the beginning. Okay, you need to understand the history as well to remember the facts. You cannot blindly mug up the facts. So I am just giving you the gentleman's agreement and then what has happened between Andhra and Telangana, and then the first tribunal what they have given between the states, and this is the combined Andhra Pradesh quota. After division there is a 512 and 299 TMC feet. After bifurcation, there was no mention of inter-state water sharing. There is a State Reorganization Act of 2014. There is no mention because already there is a tribunal which has given the data or which has published what to be distributed. So there is no mention of inter-water dispute sharing under the State Reorganization Act. In 2015, both the states has agreed, they have sat and they have agreed that 66% of 811 TMC feet will go to Andhra Pradesh and 34% of 811 TMC feet will go to Telangana. Okay, and this was agreed that every year they will review. They will review every year. Okay, but what has happened after that? There was no review, and then Telangana went to Supreme Court as well to resolve the dispute. Okay, and it argued for they need 70% of share out of this 811 TMC feet. Telangana has asked for 70% of share, as AP was already using historically with the major amount. Now we need lot of water because we are also growing. Andhra Pradesh also claimed that they want 70%, more than 65-70% they also want. Okay, so both the states now clash. That was the background. Now this according to the constitution, article 262, very important. According to this, whenever there is a dispute between the states related to the interstate water distribution, center has to resolve this. I mean the parliament has to resolve this according to establishing the tribunal. So we have seen the background, and then dispute arise between the two states because of the water sharing, and then the role of parliament. I am telling you here the role of parliament. Parliament has the role whenever there is a dispute between the water distribution between the states under article 262 of Indian Constitution. So Telangana, central government has asked Telangana government to withdraw the case in the Supreme Court, and we will establish a tribunal and we will resolve it between both of your states. Telangana has taken back the petition in the Supreme Court, but center has not taken any action since last 3-4 years. So that dispute persists between the states. So that is the issue between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana related to the Krishna water dispute. Now the Ministry of Irrigation, Uttam Kumar Reddy, has also mentioned Helsinki rules. You don't need to worry, there are a lot of rules, you don't need to worry at all. Just for exam, what is Helsinki rules? They will ask in the exam. What is Helsinki rule? That was recently mentioned in news. So it is nothing but international agreement signed in Finland in 1966. So it was an international mechanism where if there is any dispute between the river water sharing, there are certain rules and regulations. It need to consider geography, basin, climate area, how much water is going. So all these things were clearly mentioned. So it has cited that as according to this agreement, international rules, Telangana should get more amount of water. That's what the Minister of Irrigation Uttam Kumar Reddy has said in the state legislature, right? So you just need to know what is Helsinki rules, how they are related to the water disputes, right? So that is about the Krishna River water dispute. I hope you understood the issue. This is very important article. So what we have discussed here, I am just giving you a brief in just few seconds. There was a dispute between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana government has passed a resolution to not give any projects to the Krishna River Water Tribunal. And the background, gentleman's agreement that signed between the two states, but that was not actually implemented properly because of various reasons. So central government has established Bachawat Tribunal in 1969 to resolve, to distribute the water between Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, United Andhra Pradesh. Then after bifurcation, there was some change in the sharing of water within that 811 TMC feet, and it was not accepted by both the states. So they want more water, and center has the power, parliament has the power to resolve, but it does not resolve till now since 2020, right? So that is the issue of the Krishna Water Tribunal. Let's have to wait what will happen in the coming days. Okay, right. So that is about the Krishna Water Tribunal. Now let's move to very brief. This is just a 2 minutes explanation or discussion on RuPay cards and unified payment interfaces. So there is some facts to be remember from the context itself. Recently, you already know that Macron, a French president, has come to India and the UPI was launched in France as well. Now yesterday, India and Mauritius, which is an island country in the Indian Ocean, and then India and Sri Lanka has signed to implement unified payment interface of India in those respective countries. So that is the context. These countries also you need to remember. Which of the South Asian countries has UPI signed by India, something like that they may ask. So these were signed. Now I am briefly going to explain what actually are RuPay cards and then what actually is UPI. You already know, so briefly I am explaining you to make you a little bit understand in this. RuPay card, it's like a ATM cards, payment interfaces. So whenever you are transacting money, these are the intermediaries which will allow to transact money from bank account to the actual wherever you are buying it. So usually it is dominated by Visa and then MasterCard. Both are not of our India's, okay, they are of Americas and different other countries. So India itself has developed RuPay cards. It was developed by National Payment Corporation of India under RBI. They have developed a domestic card. This is the only domestic card developed by India, and all the data will be kept within our own territorial boundary. So if you are using Visa, MasterCard, all our data will go to the international market, isn't it? Because those are not our companies. So to protect our data privacy and to have a more smoothen transactions, government has come up with the RuPay cards. Okay, so those are the payment interfaces between the consumers and the actual sellers, right? So this is very basic thing. Next, unified payment interface. This is also again So it is actually a connection, digital real-time payment system developed again by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, in 2016. After demonetization, you know how much it was penetrated. Before demonetization, the transactions only through cash, right? So you can just visualize what was the situation before. They will interlink all the banks. You have bank account from Union Bank, whether SBI, ICICI, HDFC, not a matter. You can just link it to one single phone number and you can transfer money through your simplified QR codes, right, or through mobile numbers. So that's how they have integrated everything. Now these are being taken to other countries as well, including France, Mauritius and Sri Lanka, right? Very simple thing, there no need too much of explanation. Yes. Thank you, Mukul. We'll keep working on it. We will try to make you better understand. Okay, thanks a lot. So next, Swachhata Green Leaf Rating. Swachhata Green Leaf Rating. So what is the context? Why we have taken this news? This was taken from Hindu. So there was a launch of Swachhata Green Leaf Rating by the government, by central government, but it was not taken by states. Only on pilot basis it was launched in Jammu Kashmir, but after that all the states ignored completely. This scheme was not actually implemented throughout India. So Hindu has noted that, the Hindu newspaper has noted that Swachhata Green Leaf Rating was not yet launched by the states and they have ignored it. That's why we have taken the article. Let's understand what actually is Swachhata Green Leaf Rating. Okay, so first understand what actually the mechanism. If you go to many of the places, especially in certain places, there is lot of pollution, river water pollution, environmental pollution, and also lack of cleanliness, right? Only in few cities there is a cleanliness, but in most of the regions in India still we are facing the lack of sanitation issue. For that, government came up with Swachhata Green Leaf Rating, which will rate all the regions in India based on the hospitality facilities. Hospitality means how you are hosting the guest. Okay, so if I am going to Jammu Kashmir, I am a guest, right? So I am not a person from Jammu Kashmir, how they are hosting me. That will have based on the safety, safe sanitation or the cleanliness there. So this is nothing but a rating system. It is rating based on your cleanliness given in that particular state, so that it will boost. So someone is giving you the last rating, so what will happen? So it will make you a little bit discouraged and you try to motivate yourself and give your best in the next coming exam. Similarly, the ratings will encourage those areas which are at the bottom to improve to the highest level. So every states, every regions in India will compete each other and they want to occupy the highest level. So finally it will increase the cleanliness across India. That is the objective of Swachhta Green Leaf Rating. Okay, that is the mechanism. Now who launched this? It was launched by Ministry of Jal Shakti and Ministry of Tourism. So I have discussed the mechanism, how it is working, and then facts related to it. Here no need to explain anything, just to make you understand the mechanism. And who are doing this? Ministry of Tourism and Ministry of Jal Shakti. So these are the two ministries in coordination is taking this rating. Okay, so that is so the end objective is to reduce the pollution in water bodies like rivers, and then to control the proper environment with the clean conditions. So that is the end result. It is a voluntary rating system. There is no mandatory thing that all the regions has come and participate in the rating. There is no mandatory. Only those who want to come voluntarily, they can come and participate in the rating. Okay, and this will have 3 phases. This is very, very important. 3 important things. First stage, orientation. Orientation means orienting, tilting towards the guidelines given by the center. So this amount of cleanliness has to be maintained. This amount of 2 different color baskets has to be maintained. So there will be certain rules and regulation. You should orient towards it, following those rules and regulation. Finally, voluntary, you yourself declare that we are ready for ranking. So you can rate us based on our performance. So after that, the ministries will verify your claim and then accordingly it will be giving the ratings, right? So this is about the Swachhta Green Leaf Rating. Okay, so as of now it is monitored, they will monitored by the state and district committees, not central government, not direct ministry. Actually they are at the decentralized level. There will be some committees which will regulate, which will collect the data and give it to the central government. So state as well as district committees will handle this, will take the ratings, accordingly they will give the information to the ministry. Okay, so this was done only Jammu Kashmir as of now, still waiting for the other states to take care. That was the noted by the Hindu, that only Jammu Kashmir was implemented and no other states has implemented it. That's what the context has mentioned, right? So what we have learned from here, the context and what actually the mechanism, what is the green leaf rating, who are giving it, and then what is the objective, what is the mechanism process involved, and finally the present condition, right? So that is about the Swachhta Green Leaf Initiative. Now the next one, performance assessment review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development, PARAK, very, very important. This may seems to be a lengthier name, but you have to remember because that will give some clue. This was recently launched under National Education Policy and this is very, very important for any exams that you are going to write. So this is the full form, performance assessment review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development. This you need to remember. So from this name itself there is some clue, isn't it? There is some clue that it is related to the education. Knowledge they are mentioning, so it means it is related to the education. So the context is why we have taken this from Press Information Bureau. There was a meeting by Secretary, Department of School Education, asked for review meeting, right? So that's why we have taken. But this is not important for our exam. What is important for our exam is what actually is PARAK. That is important for us. Okay. So it is nothing but a separate organization like Niti Aayog. There is a separate organization, right? Similarly, we have a separate organization called PARAK, established by government to bring all school boards. We have Andhra Pradesh School Board, we have Uttar Pradesh School Board, we have Bihar School Board, we have Maharashtra School Board. So all the school boards and boards as well as the territories will come at a single place. Okay. So what they will do, it will unite all the school boards, come together and create a single platform to assess the performance of the students. Not only students, schools, whatever the organization at the mini level they have included, they will assess the performance and accordingly they will give suggestions. Okay. It was launched as part of National Education Policy 2020. You all know during COVID times we got a new education policy, right? So under this policy government has established PARAK. This is also very important to remember. under which scheme or something they may ask in the exam. So it was established under National Education Policy, and it will be part of NCERT, National Council of Education Research and Technology, right? So it is part of NCERT. This organization will be kept under NCERT, right? Established under National Education Policy, but who is handling it? It is under the NCERT, right? Now it is tasked to periodic learning outcomes, so it will assess the students how much they are learning, how practically they are learning the education. They will assess all the things, National Achievement Survey, there are a lot of things, whatever the involvement related to the education across India will be assessed with the single indicators. Now you can see that Andhra Pradesh will have a separate index, a separate type of assessment, Telangana will have separate type of assessment, Uttar Pradesh will have separate type of assessment, Bihar will have separate type of assessment. Now we are bringing all the boards together and we are assessing on a same indicators, so that they will come and encourage together, and accordingly the quality of education will be increased. That is the object of PARAK organization, okay. So it has a 3 major assessment areas: larger scale assessment, like in long term manner how they are performing, and then school based assessment at the lower level, how the school students are performing, and then examination reforms, how the exams from Uttar Pradesh is different from Andhra Pradesh, how they are moving together, how improvement has been done. So these are the 3 areas where they can assess, and accordingly they will give suggestions for the improvement, right. So objectives: uniform norms and guidelines across the states, and then enhance assessment pattern. So see, now we are measured only by marks, right. So I I used to get lot of marks in the schools, and then I thought it is more important rather than understanding practically. So we all has done this, we directly by hearted the things rather than practically understand how human body works. So you need to visualize how each body part has kept placed in our body. So we were not able to do that, we were just by hearted the things, and we have learned such type of in such a manner. So that need to be changed. They want to enhance the assessment beyond the marks, and then reduce disparity in evaluation. So you need to reduce the disparities between the states, and then benchmark assessment. So benchmark means giving it a particular rating so that they will know where exactly they stand at. So these are the objectives of PARAK, right. So any doubts in this? Okay, let's move ahead to the next article. PM Vani scheme. This is again very important for all objective exams. They have already been asked in the CSIR exam. I have seen the paper. So what is the full form they have asked, but they will ask a little bit higher that what is the objective, okay. So just before going into this, I'll give you one example from our own life. Whenever you don't need internet, for example, you are using a Wi-Fi in your home by paying 600-700 rupees per month. Now after crossing, you went outside, you did not recharge your mobile because it takes around 60 rupees, 70 rupees for 1 GB or maybe for higher. So you don't recharge, but when you went outside, you need an internet to book the cabs or to study something. So you are not ready to buy or spend 60 rupees for 1 GB, right? Because only for that day you need internet. When you go back home, you will again get the Wi-Fi where it was already put in place. So here government want to resolve this issue, that wherever you go everywhere. You can see this diagram, you will understand it. Wherever you go, you will have a Wi-Fi connection, and you can use according to your utility, it will be charged. For example, you just need internet for 10 minutes. So you will pay only 2 rupees, 1 rupee, that's all. You can close it, right? Or they can change the password. So everywhere, wherever you go, there should be a Wi-Fi hotspots, and you can use the internet wherever you want. That was the objective of PM Vani scheme, okay. So the context is Rural Development Ministry has taken up a forward that this initiative will be launched in different panchayats across India, right. That's why we have taken up the scheme. Let's understand. So what is the aim? We have already seen that deployment of Wi-Fi everywhere in the country, wherever you go. So there should be a Wi-Fi and then digital access, and the purpose will be for different. So some student need for education, some person need for booking a cab. So wherever you go, Wi-Fi has to be established. And how they are going to establish? It is going to set up public Wi-Fi network with the help of local kirana shop wherever they want. So you can see this is a kirana shop. A small hotspot will be established, right? So there will be a Wi-Fi and you can just use it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you want, and you can pay 1 or 2 rupees and you can go somewhere else. And again there some Wi-Fi will be there, so you can use wherever you want, whenever you want, right? So that is the objective of PM Vani scheme. A person who wants to use public, so I have already explained the mechanism. Now facts, a central registry will be maintained at C dot, Center for Development of Telemetrics. So it is telematics, it is under the Department of Communication or Ministry of Communication. So how much they have used, how much they has been charged, who are all using, so everything will be a proper data so that no mischievous things, no illegal things will happen, right? So some shops may charge you extra, so then government can take action over it. So a central registry will be maintained at C dot under Ministry of Telecommunication, okay? So that is about the PM Vani scheme. You just need to know how it is working, which ministry is involved, what are the facts, right? So that is about the PM Vani scheme. Next, this is the report published by Niti Aayog, GROW report. Full form of course you need to know, greening and restoration of wasteland with agroforestry. This is the full form. Greening, restoration of wasteland with agroforestry. So from the report name itself you can get some clue that we want to restore the wasteland, whatever the land which is kept idle without any utility, they want to utilize it at least with agroforestry. We will understand what actually is agroforestry. Just this is the context. A report was released by Niti Aayog. This was published in Press Information Bureau and we have taken that from Press Information Bureau. Now what is the report about? The report is Niti Aayog has studied using remote sensing and GIS. So using satellite communication we can measure the greenery as well, how much in each district, each region, each state the greenery is. So Niti Aayog has come up with the study using remote sensing and GIS that what, where and how much land from each of the districts in India, each of the states as well as districts in India is suitable for agroforestry, okay. So what are all the lands, how much of wasteland is there in each of the districts to convert into agroforestry. So to study this they have used the GPS and GIS technology, right. So the context I hope you understood. What is this report about? So they have developed agroforestry suitability index to measure, they have said that they are going to measure for each of the districts. So for that they have developed agroforestry suitability index. No need to worry about technicalities, how they have measured and all, that is too much technical which is not relevant for our exam. Just remember that they have developed an index to study that how much land will be suitable for agroforestry in different regions, right. The report provides state-wise and district-wise analysis supporting government departments how much land can be shifted to the agroforestries. So this is about the report. Now what actually is the agroforestry, that is important. So you can see here there is an agriculture and then there is a plants. So it is nothing but combining agriculture or crops with the trees, the forest trees. So here agro means agriculture crops and forestry means growing normal trees. So this will be helpful because these crops can get the shadow, right, and then proper moisture is maintained and the land soil fertility also will be maintained because there is a trees there. So it is a combination of agriculture, crops, growing crops plus growing trees. So that is the agroforestry. It combines agriculture and forest technologies and it has many benefits. So I am not going into too much technicality, you can understand. Soil moisture, rains will fall on time and then shadow can be given to the crops when there is a high amount of heat. So all these benefits can be laid. So Niti Aayog is telling indirectly that there is a lot of wasteland, please try to convert it to the agroforestry, that will benefit to the all people involved in the particular district, right. So what prominent details the report has given, there are certain details which are very important for our exam. They are saying that agroforestry at present throughout India, agroforestry is only 8.65%. We have land more than 3.2 million square kilometers, out of it only 8.65% is there for agroforestry. So the total amount of land is 28.42 million hectares. So both you need to remember what percentage of land is covered with agroforestry and what amount of land the actual is. So 28.42 million square kilometers, sorry hectares. So approximately one more data they have given, 16.96% total geographical area is wasteland. So out of the total land that we are having in India, approximately 17% is wasteland which was kept idle without using anything. So rather than keeping like this, we can bring the agroforestry and increase this percentage. This land can be converted to the agroforestry and the percentage can be increased so that everyone will benefit, right. So this initiative also quoted one important data or important criteria that government has committed. At the international level, we have UNFCCC, UNCCD, there are a lot of environmental conventions, and India has committed that we are going to reclaim 26 million hectares of degraded land. So if you visit some regions even in your state, there is a lot of degraded lands. That means they are not fertile, they are very dry. So government has committed that 26 million of such lands, hectares, will be brought back to the afforestation through various measures. So this quote has measured by the report that we are in line, that we are going to achieve this, right. So that is about the details related to the report. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. Now we are moving to the last two articles. There is a floor test. Here a little bit concept I will explain, not just discussing the facts, that is you can do from the books itself, but I want to make you understand how it works, what is the majority and all. So focus on this. The context is very simple. You all know Nitish Kumar has signed again, right? As a Chief Minister of Bihar, 9th time. So for this there was a background. I will just briefly tell you. Earlier he was part of BJP and then moved to the other party, RJD. He has formed Chief Minister. Again he came back to the NDA. Now as he changed the party, it is a very essential to prove his majority in the state legislature. So that's why he proved the majority here. He won. He became the Chief Minister. Let's understand what actually is floor test, or also called as trust vote. Both are same. Floor test and trust vote. So this happens when governor or speaker feels that there is a lack of majority or there is a need of testing the majority in the legislature. So there are two cases. It will be done through vote only, of course, the majority of the members. There are two contexts. Whenever the house is in session, that means the session is already in meeting, and if speaker feels that there is need a majority, so he can ask to prove the majority of the leader of the house. That means already a person who is having the highest majority. So speaker can ask whenever there is already a session. But if the house is not in the session, it is not in the meeting, like all the members have went, there is no session of legislature, then governor come into the picture. So governor will ask that you need to prove your majority to stay in the post of Chief Minister and hold in the Council of Ministers under Article 163, right. So that is called as floor test. So floor test is nothing but a legislative bodies, a test in the legislative bodies to find out whether government is having the majority or not. Okay, that is ideal democracy, right. Whoever is having the majority, whoever is having the highest number of seats, only those people should rule the state. That is the core philosophy of the democracy, right. That's what the floor test is. And what happens during the floor test? Whenever governor has asked or speaker has asked, for example I am the speaker and you are the Chief Minister, okay. So I am having a doubt, I will ask you to prove the majority. What you will do? You will move a motion. A motion means a proposal in the house that I am having a majority. I am ready to prove it. So first you will pass the motion that I am already having majority. Then the MLS will vote. All the MLS who has already elected in the elections will vote and then decide the member. Like if this person who has introduced the motion has got the the majority, so he will remain as the Chief Minister, else he has to resign it. For that, what majority they need to get? That is absolute majority. We call it as absolute majority. So there are a lot of majorities. I am not going to discuss them in detail. This is not a polity class. This is a current affairs class. So we have simple majority, absolute majority, effective majority, special majority. Here absolute majority means 50% of total strength of the house. So for example, if Uttar Pradesh assembly is 400, so 50% plus one vote. So if it is an odd number, then that's fine. So here 200 plus 1. So at least 201 votes has to get for a staying in the chief minister. That is called as absolute majority. Total strength, remember total strength 50% plus 1 vote. That is to be get for the majority. Now, so this is the process. If he could not able to succeed this voting, if he did not get this absolute majority, he has to resign from the house. There is one more test called as compound floor test. Sorry, composite floor test. Very, very important. Focus here. This is a different from floor test. Floor test means directly one person is claiming the majority and he is proving himself. But here 2% are coming into the picture. Person A and person B. That I am also having majority and B is also having majority. So governor, they both have submitted to the governor that we both have the majority. This person said that I am having majority, this person has said that I am having majority. In such case, governor will call a special session. Even if the session is not, house is not in session, governor will call a special session to prove the majority among the A and B. So they will call all the members and ask the votes to A or B or any other party if they are doing. So they will vote accordingly. Whoever gets the majority, then those person will be appointed as a chief minister. So composite floor test means when 2% are claiming the majority, and floor test means simply one person has already claimed and proving his majority in the house, right? So this also needs a majority, absolute majority. And today's last article, and very, very important, I am going to discuss in a very little bit detailed manner, because MSP policy briefly I have discussed in the past session. But now how it is measured is also important, because farmers are demanding the formula proposed by MS Swaminathan, who got the Bharat Ratna recently. He has already given one formula. So farmers are demanding for it. We will discuss the formula as well, which is very, very important for our exam. Before that, let's understand the context, why it is their news. During COVID times in 2020, you might be aware, lot of farmer protests has happened in New Delhi, right? Even they have established some flags in the Red Fort, right? So the same thing, yesterday the talks between farmer leaders and the Ministry of Agriculture was failed. So farmers are ready again to start their protests. That's why we have taken this article. Now, what the demand from the farmers? Farmers want the a few things I will discuss at the end, that they want legality of MSP, right? So they need a granted MSP, minimum support price. Before doing all these things, or before knowing what are the demands, need to understand what actually is MSP. Then only you will be able to connect it to the actual necessary or understanding the demand of the farmers, right? So whenever there is a certain conditions in the market, the quality of goods will decrease. I mean the quality of rice will reduce. So the private players are not ready to buy, right? So farmers has produced 1000 tons of some goods, but no private players are ready to buy it. Then government will come up and they will buy it through MSP. So MSP is announced before sowing season. So whenever there is a, for example, June we have a monsoon. So farmers are ready to sow the seeds in June. So in the May itself, government will announce that per quintal for 100 kgs we will pay this price. So if you are getting better price, go and sell there. But if you are not getting that better price, come to us, we will give money and you give the whole grains to us. We will store safely and we will give it to the market in the whenever necessary, right? So that is minimum support price. It is the minimum price that government buys from the farmer, right? So it is recommended by Commission of Agriculture Costs and Prices. This is important. It is recommended, not mandated. It is just studies the things and they will give recommendations to the government. And finally, Department of Economic Affairs, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs will take the decision. I hope you understood the MSP, right? Any doubt in this? Minimum support price, right? So how is it measured? We have seen what actually is MSP, minimum support price. Now we need to know how it is measured. That's what the farmers' demand is coming from. There are three ways. There are three ways of measuring MSP. Okay. First one is A2 formula. You need to understand, okay, don't think that this is too much technical. This is very important. They will ask you in the exams. First, A2, this is the name. It will cover direct costs incurred by the farmer. Direct costs. That means what costs a farmer incur? Direct costs. Like seeds, right? Pesticides, fertilizers, whatever the input costs, direct costs involved by the farmers, like fertilizers, pesticides, labor, by taking the labor from others, right? I am having land, I need to labor also to work here, right? I cannot alone produce, or my family alone can produce it. I need labor as well. So whatever the direct costs incurred will be part of MSP. So this is one formula, that we will give whatever the amount you have incurred, so we will give the A2. That is one method. Second one is A2 plus family labor. So second method is A2 plus family labor. First one, all these costs will be included, all the costs will be included here, plus family labor. That means me, then my family, like 5-6 members have worked, but nobody pays us because it is our land only. We have taken labor from others. Apart from that, we ourselves are working. So who will give the monetary benefit for us? We were also involved in the production. So in this formula, this all costs incurred in the production plus my family labor per person, how much it is has to be given according to the market, will be added into this as well. This is the second approach. Okay, this is now government implementing in most of the cases. And the third one, which farmers are demanding, is C2. This is C2, farmers demand. Farmers demand based on C2. In this, what they will measure, this will include this one, A2 plus family labor costs, plus whatever the foregone costs. Okay, here it is. Rentals, foregone interest. For example, I am keeping all my money. For example, 1 lakh rupees are needed to cultivate. I am giving my own money. I am not taking any money from bank. If I have to take from bank, what will happen? I need to pay extra interest also. But here I am also losing some interest. This is my own money. Who will pay interest to this 1 lakh rupees that I am spending? So there are interest on which the money, my own money is spending on this. Government will have to consider that as well, interest. And then rentals. So if I am not having any land, farming land, I will take rent, right, for 1 year and then I will cultivate. So here I am not taking any rent, but the land is mine only, I am not taking rent. So I am losing certain amount. If I could have given to others, I would have got some rent as well. So here rentals, that when I am using my own land, so the rent as well as interests on the money that I am spending. So here all this A2 plus FL plus interest on my money which I am spending, or if I am taking from something else. Sometimes I also take loan from other, so they need to add interest which I am paying back also, has to given by the government. Interest plus rentals. Sometimes I will have my own land and sometimes I may take some rent from others. So who is paying that? The farmer itself. Government has to consider this as well, interest as well as the rentals, to calculate all these. Then it will become the very good phenomena to measure the C2, right? Very important. I hope you understood the three differences. If any of you did not understand, please comment here. I will explain you again what is C2. Any doubts? So A2 is nothing but whatever the direct costs incurred by the farmer, then family labor, as my family members are working, we also need to pay some money. So those also government should add on. Then in this, whatever the rents that I am paying, if I am taking any land rent, or if I am losing any rent because it is my own land, and the interest for loan I have taken, or if it is my own money, I am not taking any interest. So for that also you need to give some interest which I have to pay if I was not having land, right? So this all is called as C2. I hope you understood the three differences. Now let's understand what the from what is the farmers demand. Farmers are demanding two things. One is to bring a law, a legislature law, right, a parliament law, that MSP will be guaranteed to all crops, not just 22 crops at present. We are giving for 22, we means government is giving for 22 crops. Now it is asking MSP for all the crops that farmers are going. That is one demand. Second demand is to give MS Swaminathan formula. According to MSP, according to the MS Swaminathan. MS Swaminathan said farmers MSP should be, very important to understand, try to focus on is on this MSP should be C2 into 1.5. So C2 we have seen here, right? So we have seen all these costs into 1.5 times 50% extra. So total we will calculate C2 multiplied by 1.5. So 50% extra of whatever the cost we have incurred as C2. So that is the MS Swaminathan formula, and farmers are demanding for it to bring unified law as well as 1.5 times of C2 prices. That's what the farmers are demanding, and government is not accepting it. Who will decide the price? See, there is a recommendation of cabinet committee on, there is a recommendation of Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices. There is already a separate organization established by the government. This is a recommendatory in nature because there are no parliament members here. Finally, the decision has to be taken by government. It is a recommendatory in nature. They will give recommendations to the government. And finally, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. This is a nothing but cabinet minister, council of ministers, prime minister and some ministers together they will sit and finally decides this. So final decision is with Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, recommended by Commission for Agriculture Costs and Prices. Okay, I hope it is clear. Okay, so moving to the factual pointers before solving some MCQs, we will see some two facts that are there for today's session. State of World's Migratory Species 2024 report was released yesterday. State of World's Migratory Species of 2024, it was released by CMS, Conservation for Migratory Species and Wildlife. There is already an UN treaty, United Nations treaty, conservation of migratory species and wild animals, which India is also part. So this has brought this particular report. They are saying that there was some improvement, but 1/5 of the threatened, 1/5 of the total species are threatened with the extinction. So there is a immediate need to conserve them. 20% species are going to extinct in the coming years. That's what the report has said. But the most important thing is who has given the report is important for our exam. Last one, National Common Mobility Card, which was launched in 2019. So it is a single card. If you go to the travel in metro, in buses, in waterways, some inland waterways are also there in Kerala, and airways. So all together will be integrated into a single card. So you can just recharge it and you can travel through any of the modes of transport. Okay, railways, roadways, airways, everything will be integrated into a single card, which was given slogan as One Nation, One Card to Transfer. It was launched in 2019. Still it is under the proper implementation. It was pilot basis launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, very important. Still it is to be implemented in a 100% manner, right. So this is the fact. I hope you are ready to solve some MCQs from our today's discussion. Okay, yeah. So first question, I hope you are ready. Any doubts? AIM CPWD, I hope I have cleared it. Who will decide the price? You have already asked a question. I hope I have cleared your doubt. Okay, so let's solve today's questions. First question, this is asked in UPSC 2020 prelims. So this standard is little bit higher, but no need to worry, we have discussed these things in our session, so you can answer this. First statement, the weightage of food in consumer price index is higher than that of wholesale price index. So that was the first statement, okay, right. Second statement, the WPI, actually this is wholesale price index, does not capture changes in prices of services. Wholesale price index will not capture prices in services, but CPI does. So this is the second statement. And third statement, Reserve Bank of India has now adopted WPI as a key measure of inflation and to decide on the changing of key policy rate. So this is the question. Someone have answered, two people have answered it as B. Okay, let's check. First one, weightage of food in consumer price index is higher than that of wholesale price index. This is actually correct. Okay, even when I was writing 2020 prelims, of course I have cleared that year with very good score of even forest service cutoff. But anyway, I made a mistake in this question without even finding logic. I was just thinking about a fact. There is a logic in this. See, wholesale price index is where we are getting it. We are measuring at the production level. I mean, who is producing it? And CPI is at the consumer level, at individual level. For whom food is more important? Where the food will be give more reality? At the consumer level only. Food is the very basic thing, right? So that's why weightage of food in consumer price index is more than WPI. It is approximately 45 point something, and in WPI it is just 38%. Okay, so consumer price index weightage of food is much more, because the consumers level, at the consumer level, food is more important. That's why we have given more weightage. Very logical. Even if you don't know the fact, if you think the logic, you can easily answer that. So first statement is correct. Second statement is also correct. WPI don't have services, but CPI have the services. Third is wrong. The RBI has taken CPI. So answer is 1 and 2. Okay. Yeah. So right, one is A, you are correct, Malini. Second one, which of the following statements about Swachhata green leaf rating is correct? So we have discussed this about Swachhata green leaf rating. What is the first? It is a rating system which rates hospitality facility of the country based on their compliance to safe sanitation practices. So this is the mechanism of this. They have given statement 1. Second one, it was launched under supervision of Ministry of Culture and in association with the Niti Aayog. That is the second statement. It is centralized monitoring scheme where supervision is done by the central agencies. So these are the 3 statements. Yes, I understand. So confused by food, but there is a logic to find in this. Okay, so I told you the logic, how to think when you are reading the statements. Try to understand them, find some logic, you will get the proper answer. Okay, so second one, someone said it as a C. Let's see who has who will answer this. Any other answers? Someone have answered it as C. Okay, first one is correct. Yes, it is a rating system which rates based on the hospitality of different regions. So first statement is correct. You can eliminate option B. Okay, so next statement, it was launched under supervision of Ministry of Culture. Wrong. Ministry of Tourism and Water Resource Ministry, like Jal Shakti Ministry. So Niti Aayog, Ministry of Culture are not involved. 2 can be eliminated. 2, someone have answered it as C. Let us check. It is a centralized monitoring scheme where supervision is done by central agencies. This is wrong. I told you the monitoring is done by state and district level committees and then given information to the highest level for just survey. They are monitored by the state level and district level agencies. So this is wrong. Answer is A. Okay. Next, what is the objective of PM Vani scheme? So we have discussed this, but direct question. First statement, to lay down the optical fiber network to penetrate the availability of internet across India. So that is the first objective, first statement. Then it aims to reduce sound pollution across major cities in India. Third, to promote critical and creative thinking, impart industry related education and enhance the overall quality of education in India. Fourth, enhance the proliferation of public Wi-Fi hotspots to create robust digital communications infrastructure in the country. Anyone? Third one, someone have answered it as D. Very good, 2 people have answered it as D. I intentionally gave option A without, see in the exam what we do, after reading this internet across India, immediately we jump into the conclusion. Never do that. Whatever exams you are doing, even if it 100% sure that answer is A, still you read all the 3, then only choose A if you are feeling confident about A, right? So always read all the options and understand them clearly, finally take the decision. Okay, so answer is D, correct. We want to enhance the public Wi-Fi networks across and then promote the internet, not optical fiber laying it, right? Next question, which of the following entities recently released the report titled Greening and Restoration of Wasteland with Agroforestry, GROW report. Which organization has recently launched? First one, Food and Agriculture Organization, Niti Aayog, Indian Society of Agroforestry, Forest Research Institute. Fourth is very direct, I am hoping that you will answer. For fourth question, Food and Agriculture, Niti Aayog, Indian Society of for Agroforestry, and finally Forest Research Institute. So this is a direct one. We have seen that Niti Aayog has released the report related to the wasteland and how we can enhance the with the agroforestry. You are correct. Answer is B. Last question for today. What is the majority required to form a government in the state legislature? So this is the conceptual question, right? So in the state legislatures, if one want to establish their government, how much majority has to get? First one, majority of more than 50% of the members present and voting in the house. Then majority of total strength of the house, majority of 2/3 of the members present and voting supported by more than 50% of total strength of the house, 2/3 of members present and voting in the house. 5 A, someone have answered it as A, 2 people have answered it as A. Let us see, the answer actually is B, a majority of total strength of the house. So listen here, if there are 400 people in the state legislature, always remember, and this is the parliament house, total elected when the elections are happening, total strength is 400, okay. But on that particular day when the voting is done, only 350 people have attended, 10 people have resigned from the house for example, and 40 are absent. So total strength is 400, but only 350 are present in the house, 10 members have resigned, and then 40 are absent because of various reasons, okay. So what will happen, we need the total strength of the house, that means at least 201 we need to get. Here what first statement is saying, majority of more than 50% of members present and voting, that means 350 members are present and voting. So what is by 2? 175 or 176. This is not the majority required, this is the majority required. That means the total strength of the house, the majority within the total strength of the house, this is just present and voting. See here, they are given only present and voting. No, it does not matter whether the present or vote, it need total strength of the house majority. So answer is B, okay, right. So I hope the session was useful. We have discussed very important articles today. So thanks a lot, keep following and keep subscribing. Thank you.